Wow, beautiful. Look at this beautiful castle. Happiest place on earth. You know, the love there must be perfect, right? No issues ever here in Cinderella's castle. Love and relationships in life are just like in the Disney movies, aren't they? Love, relationships, riding off into the sunset on a white horse, right? All you need is love. Yeah, right. Do you know the myths of love and relationships? That's a great question. You know, there's a book called The Right One written by Frank Martin and Jimmy Evans, and it has some great information that I thought I'd, maybe share with you guys since we're just a few days past Valentine's Day. And I hope you got a chance to check out that message that I did there for my wife, Debbie. You know, there was this researcher who once posed the question, what makes a good marriage? Well, 99% of the people who responded answered, being in love. These results aren't surprising, right? But, they're telling us when it comes to love and marriage, most of us are pretty idealistic. We want to believe that love is the answer to every problem we have. Hey, think about this. Years ago, if you remember, the Beatles told us, all you need is love. Love is all you need. Do you remember that song? And we have believed them ever since. But if being in love were all that was needed to grow a happy marriage, the divorce rate would be non-existent, right? Love is perhaps the most misunderstood and overused word in the English language. I bet you people here say, oh, I love that castle. You know, a young man will say, I love my girlfriend. And in the next breath, he says, I love my truck. Or for me being a Canadian, I love hockey. Ain't that the truth for us fellow Canadians? And the same thing will happen when a woman says, I love my husband, but then with the same enthusiasm proclaim, I love going to Hawaii, or I love watching old movies, or getting a pedicure. Even our language betrays how little we understand about the true nature and meaning of love, as well as what it takes to grow a strong and happy love relationship. You know, this book, The Right One, again, states that each year more than 2 million couples in the United States stand at the altar and recite their wedding vows. Think about that. You know, that's more than 4,000. No, I got to do the math. That's more than 4 million men and women, each filled with hope, optimism. And they sort of stand before God, and their friends, pledging to stay together through thick and thin, through good times and bad times, until death do they part. I remember saying that part. I'm certain that each and every one of those couples, seriously are intent on staying in true love to honor their vows. Yet if the statistics hold true, the book says that many of these marriages will eventually end in divorce. Most of them before the 7th year of marriage. Man, that's a sad thing, isn't it? It doesn't have to be that way, though. Most marriages failed could be prevented with the right marital advice and counseling. And at the very least, many of those headed for trouble could be taught to recognize dangerous red flags that pop up before it's too late. The author of the book also states, at its core, divorce, this is a tough one. Divorce is nothing more than the results of two people lacking the skills and preparation to navigate the inevitable storms of marriage. Bam! It can almost be avoided with the right counsel and training, they state. Relationships, my friends, don't end because couples are not sincere. They end because couples are not equipped to make the marriage last. And the time to head off the relational problems is before they begin, right? Before the damage has already been done. Before the dysfunction in the relationship has, created untold pain and heartache within the marriage. The time to heal or avoid a dysfunctional relationship is long before it turns into a binding marital covenant. Again, all this information is from that book, The Right One. Do me a favor, watch this video to the end. And I did a video called How to Fix Your Marriage When It's Falling Apart. And I'll put the link at the end of this video. And I really do believe, my friends, that it will bless you and encourage you personally to be better in your marriage or to be better in your relationships. Hello, Hit the Mark Today family. I'm Mark Heidt. Please do me a favor, right down there, hit that like, subscribe, and share buttons for me. That really is the best way to help our Hit the Mark Today channel grow. And if you enjoy listening to these Hit the Mark Today videos, please do me a favor. Click on the little icon bell, and that just keeps you up to date on when new videos are released. Positively impacting people every day by sharing the message of hope is the goal of our channel, and I want to thank you in advance for following me on this journey. Please, 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 remember your comments are always welcome, and I really do appreciate it when you share some of your wisdom and your hope messages with those Hit the Mark Today members. Okay, here. Let's get back and keep going with the myths of love and relationship. It seems so easy to believe that, love should look and feel like it does, like in Hollywood, like when you're on the big screen, or, like it does here at Disneyland. Again, they call this place the happiest place on earth, and look at it's beautiful. I mean, that castle's a beauty, eh? It really is. Perhaps the most prevalent of these myths is that love is a feeling. And if you don't feel in love, you're with the wrong person. All right, here we go. You ready? Myth number 1. Love is a feeling. It's so easy to believe that love should look like and feel like it does on the big screen. And then once we find and capture our soulmate, everything else in life will magically fall into place. We will never doubt, never argue, never lose our initial attraction. Like it'll be like in a storybook romance, two souls forever united in the bliss of romance. It's a dangerous myth to buy into, my friends, and may cause more divorces than all other love myths combined. At the very least, it creates far more stress and turmoil than couples need, especially during the early years of a marriage. All right, let's keep going. Myth number 2. You have one true love. I said a myth. That's another damaging love myth perpetuated by Hollywood. You know, the idea that somewhere in the world is our one true love, and we will never be happy until we find them. Think about it. From the earliest age, girls are, I guess you could say, taught or conditioned to seek out their Prince Charming. I think he lives right here, right? All right, let's keep going. The girls are convinced that once their Prince Charming comes to them, the two of them will ride away on a white horse and live, happily ever after. In the land of Disney, you've seen the movies. Couples are always perfect and happy and content, and there's no bills to pay, there's no kitchens or toilets to clean, there's no diapers to change, no personality conflicts to deal with. Oh yeah, don't forget about the singing doves, the wedding gowns, and all the royal balls. That must happen here, I think, right? Well, my friends, there's nothing inherently wrong with these fairy tale stories, but you got to understand that they are just simply that, fairy tales. There's just too many young boys and girls come to this subtly believe that there is a special soulmate in the world created just for them. Someone they're destined to be with. Destiny. Someone designed to be their one and only true love. And if they believe that myth, even on a subconscious level, it's really a dangerous trap to fall into. On a subconscious level, couples are often afraid of bringing up issues that might, put a strain or maybe implode their relationship, and they refrain from having any type of a conversation that they really need to be having because, again, they're afraid of where those conversations might lead them. So they choose instead to focus on only the positive, on those things they have in common, and the giddy way they feel when they are together. Oh, I remember those days. They each want to believe that they have found their love, their one true love, and any idea or question that might suggest otherwise is just completely rejected. Please listen to me right now. A relationship based on feelings is destined for failure. That's one of the many dangers of believing the one true love myth. Once you've found your soulmate, you have to hang on for dear life, because if you lose them, you may never get another chance to love. All right, myth number 3. Love conquers all. You see, most dating couples are aware of each other's faults, and, they've seen any potential warning signs that might have appeared. Women are especially gifted and able to recognize danger, character flaws in the men they date. But often, they choose to ignore it. Or maybe they just overlook them, or even hide from them. And instead of dealing with the problem, they tell themselves that if they can just hang on to the relationship, these issues will somehow, some way, work themselves out. That if they can just show enough love and compassion to their partner, everything will be fine. Well, in the world of fairy tales, Disneyland, love conquers all. So why shouldn't it work that way in real life? My friends, this is a dangerous, and codependent trap for couples to fall into. But it's far more common than you might expect. All right, myth number 4. This is the last one. Love will keep us together. At the heart of every failed marriage is the belief that, two people who once loved each other are no longer in love. In fact, I bet if you ask their partner what happened to the marriage, their answers will be, their answers will always betray the truth. We just drifted apart. We lost any feelings that we had for each other. What's another one? Somewhere along the line, we just fell out of love. Well, love was the one emotion they had in common. And it was supposed to be enough to keep them together. But it didn't work. Love failed them. It wasn't strong enough to last. It wasn't powerful enough to overcome the stress of, their kids and bills and maybe failed businesses. It wasn't stable enough to keep their hearts faithful and their eyes from wandering. It wasn't meaningful enough to keep the attraction alive through, this gets us all wrinkled skin, graying hair, or maybe no hair, some of us. It wasn't real enough to survive the years of conflict and struggle and strife. Love was the flame that kept their passion high, but when their spark died, their marriage died with it. Myths are just myths. The authors of this book strongly believe in premarital counseling. They say that no couple should ever enter into a marriage first without spending some time talking with a trained and qualified pastor or trained and qualified marriage counselor. They can bring a level of perspective and communication that simply can't be gained otherwise. My friends, a good counselor can spot areas of potential stress and conflict and help them uncover any dangerous dysfunction or character flaws. And they can ask those pertinent questions that you may have never considered asking. They can help you and your partner explore any deep-seated wounds or areas of pain that you might have that might lead to serious problems in the future. And they can also help you bring healing to those wounds before they have a chance to, do some serious harm to your future marriage. If your relationship is strong and healthy, a good counselor can give you their blessing. And that allows you to go into the marriage with just a greater sense of peace and confidence. And if the relationship is dysfunctional, a counselor may be able to save you from years of pain and heartache. Here's a question for you, my friends. Do you understand true love? What is true love? Think about that for a second. There are but a few of the many love myths that create stress and chaos in relationships. Just as important as knowing what love isn't, I believe that it's important to understand what love is. In the book, The Right One, they have this most incredible explanation I've ever heard. I love it. Do me a favor, get a pen and paper right now, and you're going to want to write this down. This really is an awesome explanation of love. All right, you ready to write it down? Here I go. Love is not a feeling. It's a decision. It's not something you experience. It's something you choose to do. It's not an emotion. It's an ability. It's not something that happens to you. It's something you nurture and you orchestrate and you develop. Love is a deliberate and determined act of the will. There is nothing idle or passive about it. It doesn't wane or fail when life gets tough. It only grows stronger and more resolved. It's the bond that keeps your relationship from drifting when every storm in the ocean is raging to tear you apart. It's the one thing you can depend on when all of life seems bent on getting you down. Love. True love. The way God intended it to be is the sacred and most dominant force in the universe. Okay, let's go. You ready? Don't allow your relationships to be based on myths and fairy tale romances. My friends, this isn't real life. Please understand that. Aim. Let God's love, decisive and unrelenting commitment, that's His love, be the defining source and characteristic of your future marriage. Fire. When we see love as a feeling, it always fails us because feelings are, what's that word? Fickle. That's the word. They change with the tides. They change with the seasons. And they just can't be trusted. Feelings are unstable and fleeting and almost always biased. Emotions can't be trusted, at least not for the long haul. Remember that a relationship based on feelings is destined for failure. Now remember I mentioned a little earlier about the video that I did called How to Fix Your Marriage. You know, do you want to improve your marriage, your relationships? Do you want to know some of God's rules for marriage and relationships? Please do me a favor. Click that link right up here. Or, again, for you folks that watch us on other social media plateaus, I will put it in the comment box below for you to check it out. Got a question for you. Last but not least, do you want to change your life for the better? One of the things that I do, Mark Heidt, to relieve stress every day is go see. Go see, huh? Well, what does that mean, Mark? Well, think about it for a second. Go just means to take action and move. And C is that acronym for S, speak. E, encouragement. E, every day. That's it. That's what I do. Go see. Go speak encouragement every day. And I promise you, you'll watch positive change happen in your life. I hope that this message about the myths of love and relationships helped you. Take this wisdom from the book, The Right One, and then go hit the mark today.